What is up? March 7th weekly update. We are at it again. This week's highlight is just a lot of comedy, and I'm really happy about it. Actually, I'll take that back. There were two sets this week where I did 7 and 6 minutes on stage, which was really nice. Um, First one was on Tuesday. One of the mics I went to, it's still a relatively new mic. Shout out to Justin Smith and his graveyard shift mic on Tuesdays. He um he's still growing it. It started maybe a month ago now, and so there's not a lot of, I guess you could say, not a lot of comics that have been coming out to it just yet. But because of that, the comics who do go get more time, which I'm really happy about. So I did 7 minutes there on Tuesday, and then Thursday was kind of a similar story. Excuse me. Thursday was a similar story. Smaller mic, not not huge in terms of like the crowd size, but the host is really cool. Blake Jones. Shout out to Blake Jones and the Mood Room on Thursdays, and sometimes there's a crowd there. But honestly, what I really enjoy about that mic is just it's just time, even if it's in front of other comics, and it's consistent. That's the other thing I really like about it. It's always held. It doesn't fluctuate. So went there, and Blake, sometimes he'll do 5 minutes, sometimes he'll give you seven, sometimes he'll give people 10. Kind of just depends on different things. But I was definitely up there longer than I was expecting to be. And I was going to do the same set that I did from Tuesday on Thursday at the Mood Room. But I forgot the start of my third set, right? My third bit, I guess you could say. And I stumbled around with it a little bit. I got into the middle of it. I started in like the middle of it instead of the very beginning, the way I normally start that set. But it's all right. And so, but I'm happy with that. I've been much more focused lately on just doing the same set. I've been writing and trying out different material and trying out different things so many different times. I never really stuck with anything for an extended period of time. But right now, I'm kind of going back on all of that and just doing the same sets over and over and over and over and over again, to get them polished up and really working. They work sometimes, sometimes they don't work. So now I'm gonna really get a solid 5 minutes. Like that's what I'm doing right now. Um, and that's kind of just been my goal. That was my goal this week. I did the same set almost every single time I got on stage. I got on stage 6 times this week. And that's after not getting up on Sunday and not getting up on Thursday. Another mic on Thursday. I did one on Tuesday, three on no, one on Monday, three on Tuesday, and then two on Thursday. I could have went to another on Thursday, but they had already cut off the time on the list. And then I was on the list on Sunday, but I didn't go up, which was kind of irritating, but oh well. So no, it's just been a solid week of getting on stage, doing open mics, doing comedy, doing the same set, I should say, and really just putting in the work. I did some exercises from this book that I'm reading. It's called the New Comedy Bible by Judy Carter. And there was an exercise in there that I actually really liked and enjoyed doing. I thought it was a little silly because I kind of already had the thought in my head of like what it was about, which is basically um the exercise was like writing down what your fears are in comedy. So I went through and I wrote them down, and then after that it was read through them again and cross off the ones that are unrealistic. So I went through and I crossed off. I made a list of like maybe I want to say 14 fears. And as I started reading through them and crossing off the ones that are unrealistic, it's just like, yeah, that one's unrealistic, and yeah, that one's unrealistic, and that one, and that one, and that one. I ended up crossing off 10 of them. Like, most of my fears were really unrealistic. Like, it just, I just know better, right? I know better than that. And it kind of really, it really helped me see my fears in a new light, I guess you could say, of just like how so many of them really are just, they're just things I'm making up in my head. Like they're not really real. And I don't know what it was about writing them out and then crossing them out that made that more apparent. But no, it did. So I was like, yeah, dude, I'm like these fears aren't really fears. They're just I don't know what they are. Their doubt is what they are. They're just doubt. Their doubt in the process, their doubt in how friendships form, their doubt in how things play out over time. Like it's how things play out. It's just my own doubt. And so that was cool. But then the third part of the exercise, which was really, really cool, was then the fears that you have remaining, the ones that you didn't cross out, the ones that are actually realistic. Um, what you do now is you write that down. You write down the fear, and it's like, if this fear happens, then I'll, and you write how you respond. And then after that, you'll write, then I'll respond to that. And then I'll respond to that. And I'll respond to that. And I'll respond to that. And I'll respond to that. Over and over and over and over again until you get the situation to a place where it's positive and maybe even funny. And so, one of the fears I had, well, obviously was like, the crowd doesn't laugh. So then I wrote then owl and went all the way down until I got somewhere positive. Another one was, I'm afraid of not getting spots on shows. So then I wrote that if I don't get spots on shows, then owl, and then, go, 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 go. And then another one was, feeling like I'm wasting my time. So it's like, if I feel like I'm wasting my time in comedy, then Al, and then, right, 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 right. So, you know, it's and on the outset, it seemed like oh, this is a silly exercise. Like I know what my fears are. And I know not to be afraid of them. I know I need to work at them. Um, but then at the same time, it's like, you write them down, you go through the process, you go through the exercise, you really sit there and you think about things. And then, you take it one step at a time because then I didn't read the next part until I finished the first part. So write out the fears. I'm like, all right, cool. Cross out the unrealistic fears. Like, oh, okay, cool. And then, hey, turn those ones that are still fears into something positive. Like find a way to get that to a positive place. It's like, okay, cool. So even the fears that feel legitimate are just a step in a process to something better. So that was actually a really awesome exercise. I did that on Thursday. So I was really happy about that. So like I said, it's just a solid week of mics, a solid week of putting in time for comedy. Um, Next week, I'm hoping to keep up the same thing. Vanessa's going to go in the shop. I'm going to get her brakes checked out, among a few other little things, nothing major. So I'm probably going to rent a car because I don't want to miss any mics. So, drop Vanessa off in the shop, let her get worked on, and then rent a car, hit mics, and just keep on keeping on. Um, Other than that, once Vanessa gets checked out, then it's get the windows tinted, and then after that, start looking into equipment. Well, I've already kind of started looking into stuff for the podcast, but it's on the horizon. Like I really want to start that podcast this year. So that's that's really been my week. Just a solid week of comedy. Work is work. Work is cool. That's consistent. I'm happy with that. Nothing crazy there. Last night was a good night. Nothing crazy. Um, and other than that, I mean, no, I'd say that's really about it. So thank you very much. Like and subscribe if you want to like and subscribe. And God bless.